Good morning. It's Coach Erica Janelle, and I am coming before you guys with a coaching moment that I want you to kind of think about um, as we constantly kind of challenge you to re examine how you deal with things. Today, we're going to talk about the area of forgiveness, what forgiveness is and what forgiveness is not, and how to practice forgiveness in our daily lives. So, there are two parts of this. One is forgiving yourself when you mess up, and the other is forgiving other people that have done you wrong or have done things that hurt you or disappoint you or whatever the case may be. And so let's talk about how to forgive others first and what that means and what it doesn't mean. So let's face it. The reality of it is, we are all going to mess up at some point in time in our lives. We are human. We make mistakes every day. We're not perfect. We're still developing and still growing every day. Hopefully, that is our journey, that we're growing and developing every day of our lives. But say, for instance, someone has done something to you that has really like damaged you, disappointed you, hurt you, broke your heart, whatever those things are. Just because you make a choice to not hold on to the resentment or hold on to the letdown or the hurt or the pain does not mean that you have to continue to deal with the person, nor does that mean that you have to feel like, you don't, or pretend that you don't feel what you feel based on whatever it is they've done to you. So I'll give you an example. Say, for instance, you have a friend that you told a secret to, and you told them that it was something near and dear to your heart, and you did not want them to share this with anyone. And say that friend betrayed you, and they shared that secret with someone that may be in your circle, and it came back to you that they shared that secret. That's a betrayal. Now, there are two things that you have to take from that. Now that I've learned, one would be, now that I've learned that this person is not somebody that I can share very intimate details of my life with and know that they'll keep that to themselves, I know now how to deal with this person in the future if I choose to deal with them at all. That's the first thing. Second thing is um, really just sitting with the the idea of the fact that this person showed you who they are. And when a person shows you who they are, you have to believe them. And so you can choose to forgive that person, but that does not mean that you want to then in turn continue a friendship with that person, or you in turn want to continue to share very intimate details of your life with that person. There's going to be some type of shift or transition in the way that you relate to that person because of what they've done to you and what they've shown you about themselves. Doesn't mean that you have to necessarily feel like all ooey gooey on the inside and, oh yes, we can still be at the same level of friendship that we were before. you know I'm okay with being your friend, blah blah blah. It doesn't mean that. Sometimes the betrayal could be so deep, or depending on what they shared, it could be something that would challenge that friendship for the rest of your lives. But when you choose to forgive them, it is choosing to not allow the hurt, the disappointment, the resentment, the betrayal control you emotionally. So you making that conscious decision and setting your mind with the intention of, I am not going to let this stifle me from being able to trust anybody. I'm not going to let this stifle me and make me feel anger and resentment towards people in general because of what this person did. I'm going to learn from this experience with this person, hold that person accountable for what they've done, and then learn to move forward. The second thing, when it comes to forgiveness with somebody that's betrayed you or hurt you or whatever the case may be, is it's not a feeling. So you're still going to feel that pain of the betrayal. You're still going to feel that disappointment. You're still going to feel that um all those anger and all of the emotions that come with it. We're not robots, we're human. So your feelings are going to be there, and that takes time. That takes time and intention to really mull over and remove those negative feelings. So, what I challenge you to remember is that forgiveness is not a feeling, forgiveness is a decision. The decision to forgive started from the moment you decided that I don't want to let this control me. I don't want to let this hurt me. I don't want this to let me down. I want to be able to move forward. Now it's going to take your emotions and your feelings a bit of time to catch up with what your decision was. And that's the part that I want to focus on. So remember, forgiveness in a situation like that is not necessarily waiting till your feelings feel like you forgave that person. It's really starting with that decision, and eventually your feelings line up with your decision. That's the first thing. So now we're going to talk about forgiveness of yourself. And this is something that I think most of us find really challenging. Some people hold on to forgiveness or unforgiveness with other people, and some people have a challenge forgiving themselves. I tend to be the latter. I tend to quickly forgive other people. I make the decision to forgive other people, and then I determine how I want to deal with that person in the future. Forgiveness, I start with the decision. I've decided that I want to forgive you. I don't want this thing to hold me into any type of animosity in my mental space. So I've made a decision to forgive that person. But now I know, okay, I don't want to deal with them in any way, shape, or form, or I will never just share any dark, intimate, deep, dark things about myself with this person because I can't trust them. That's one thing. When it comes to forgiving yourself, it is sometimes much more challenging. I think we often are very, very hard on ourselves in many instances. And when you're hard on yourself, it's really easy to um, get to a place where you're just like, beating yourself down. So the same way that you have to make that decision to forgive others after they've done some wrong to you or hurt you, when you've done something that you're disappointed in yourself about, or you feel guilty about, or you feel upset with yourself about, you have to set that will and that decision to forgive yourself instantly. You acknowledge that you made a mistake. You acknowledge that you messed up. It might not have been a mistake. You might have intentionally did it. Let's be honest. Sometimes we do things and we intend to do it. We intend to say something nasty or rude to a person because we want to hurt them because they've hurt us. So whatever the case may be, whether it's something you did intentionally or unintentionally, the fact of the matter is it still starts with that decision and that mindset shift of saying, I choose to be kind to myself. I choose to acknowledge that I did this thing that I'm not very proud of, but I choose to let myself have grace because I'm not perfect. That is hard for a lot of us. I struggle with that. I have such a high standard that I place on myself as far as my discipline and the way that I treat people. So when I know that I've done something that hurts a person, it bothers me, it damages me internally. And I have to take some time with it, sit with it, and then forgive myself. Out loud say, I forgive myself for this. I choose to learn this lesson from this thing that I've done so that I don't keep making the same mistake or I keep doing the same offense. I want to learn from it. I want to grow from it. I want to become better. I don't want to hold on to these things. And so it starts with that same decision of saying, I choose to forgive myself. And then it's the practical work, just like when you forgive others, that practical work of waiting for your emotions to catch up with what your decision is. So I challenge you guys to be kind to yourselves. I am putting it in my practice daily to say to myself, when I look at myself in the mirror, I tell myself, be kind to yourself today. You are going to make mistakes. You are not going to get it right. You're not going to do everything the way you want it to, but you are enough. You are still a good person. You are still a person that has integrity. You are still a person that has character. Just because you've done something wrong does not mean you're not a good person. And so I encourage you guys to do the same thing with yourself. Have those pep talks with yourself in the mirror. I know it sounds silly and it might look crazy, but you have to encourage yourself sometimes. Sometimes you don't have anybody around you to be your voice of reason or to be your encouragement. So sometimes the onus is on you to encourage yourself. So I challenge you guys, encourage yourself, even when you have nobody around to do it for you. I hope this helps you. Love you guys. Have a great day. Bye.